Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdy Girl Crates, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is the return of Wednesday Rewind, and in the spirit of Halloween, I decided to take a look at a character who first became popular in the 90s, and is currently making a comeback. That character is Spawn, created by Todd McFarlane and published by Image Comics, first appearing in Spawn #1 in May 1992. The story of Spawn follows Albert Francis Simmons. Simmons, who joins the U.S. Marine Corps, is on a mission in Botswana. His director, Wynn, grows tired of his increasing morality and secretly hires Simmons' friend and partner, Bruce Steinson, codenamed Chapel, to kill him. Simmons is burned to death and sent to hell. Making a deal with the devil, Simmons agrees to become a Hellspawn and serve Melboga, if he's allowed to see his wife Wanda one last time. The demon agrees and returns Simmons to the living realm, but without most his memories, a severely burned body, and a demonic guardian named the Violator. Now, Spawn was like a big deal. I remember when I was in high school when this came out. It was just like this very edgy, dark character. He was also African American, and outside of what you had already in Marvel and DC, there wasn't really a character outside of that stood out. And the character of Spawn was just very intriguing. It was geared more to older audience. And between Todd McFarlane's art and the great storylines that this character had then, it was like, it was cool to be into it. I remember when the animated series dropped, I believe it was on HBO, and it wasn't like your Batman the Animated Series, which was kind of geared to all ages. This was dark, gritty, violent, and it was great. Unfortunately, there was also a movie, but the movie didn't live up to the hype. That's all I'm going to say about that. But you had this character with his own kind of unique origin, you know. It wasn't exactly like the hero powers weren't born from something great, like he wasn't an alien from another planet. His was on tragedy, and it was making a deal with somebody who you know is not necessarily a good guy. And because of this, he's hunted by characters like Angela, who you will see later on in the Marvel Universe as Thor and Loki's sister, but let's just forget that ever happened. She hunts Hellspawn, which he is. You see him suffering, also being separated from his wife and trying to struggle to get his memories back. It was just a great story, and after a while, he kind of like faded out of existence, Spawn. But lately, he has been making a comeback. I have the Spawn Universe comics, the King Spawn comics, and I just got today Gunslinger Spawn. So Todd McFarlane is now building a connected universe with this character, at least expanding bigger on it than he has before. And just like his design too is pretty cool with that red flowing cape. You know, McFarlane was always able to draw like these like costumes that seem to have a life of their own, and like with the cape, just how it like kind of like hangs out there. It's almost like it's trying to reach out and grab something. There's so much like detail in the design. And like I said earlier, this was not a white character in the 90s. That's why I kind of get frustrated when I hear all these people going on about diversity. Something I'm probably going to cover in another video. But there was a lot of diversity, and Spawn was part of that. I mean, it's kind of like these characters kind of get ignored. Like these characters who are original, they're not like taking a mantle from another character. And Spawn was like really like this dark character. I mean, I would say it went darker at times than Ghost Rider. You had some great villains, some very creepy villains. It was kind of like you knew he was also dealing with not being able to trust the people or demons he's supposed to rely on to get his jobs done. And he was also looking for vengeance for his life being cut short for no reason. It's just so good. And I know there's been issues where things kind of drop off and they're not as good as it used to be, but first time seeing this character in the 90s, I remember being in the comic book store and it was like nothing I've seen before. Because everything else kind of gets like played down more with design look. Like, you have your very patriotic looks. Wonder Woman has her classic look and everything like this, but this was kind of like on the shelf next to everything else. It was like, just like, wow, that looks creepy and evil. And you just wanted to know more about it. And it was something finally breaking free of Marvel and DC. At the time, Marvel was struggling, and this is why the movie rights ended up where they ended up originally. And DC, you know, they were doing a lot of killing off characters, wounding characters, and replacing characters. Not as much like they do now. Instead, they just kind of race swap and gender swap everybody. But it was like they were trying to get people back interested in the characters. Like, oh, Batman had his back broken, so who's going to be Batman until Bruce Wayne can return? You know, the death of Superman. And I remember that big deal about that and people standing online for comics. It was kind of like, and then they did a crossover event between DC and Marvel. But like at that time, Image felt like they were trying to do something new, something different. And I think that's why a lot of people got drawn into Spawn. So if you haven't checked out Spawn, I'm going to say, if you're really into like that dark horror revenge type vigilante storyline, I would say pick up Spawn Volume 1. Also check out the current books like Spawn Universe, Spawn, King Spawn, and I just got Gunslinger Spawn, so I haven't read it yet, so I can't get my opinion yet on that. It literally just showed up today. But Spawn was one of those really unique characters that broke out of the big two. It was like, it's not a Marvel, it's not a DC, it's its own thing, and it was making like the numbers DC and Marvel would normally make. And it, again, right now, it's been doing the same thing. So I would say check out Spawn. So tell me down below, are you a big Spawn fan? Are you interested in finding out about Spawn? Do you not like Spawn? Go ahead, comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that notification button so you'll be aware when I have a new video up. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.